From the first episode of It's So Easy, our mantra has been, it really is easy. We take the fear out of sewing and fitting with our leading lineup of experts that break each project or technique into manageable parts. Whether you're a new sewer, someone who's returned to sewing after a break, or an experienced sewer, we make it easy to create amazing projects. And that's our theme this season. It really is so easy. Today is all about getting started. First up, Joanne Banco demonstrates a variety of techniques using both the sewing machine and serger. Pick your favorite. Then meet Angela Wolf on location at her home studio with a sew-along featuring the Bella top and adding sleeves and embroidery. This sew-along will be about altering patterns with various style changes. It really is so easy. So let's get started. Episode 2101, Let's Get Started.
Hi, I'm Joanne Banco, author and online educator at Let's Go Sew. This series of It's So Easy TV is all about helping you to sharpen your sewing skills and polish up some of those techniques that maybe you've put on the wayside and need a little bit more help with. So sergers and sewing machines are common in the sewing room. And today what I'd like to do is do some common techniques, some basic, tried and true things that we use in our sewing construction and show you how they work on the sewing machine and show you how they work on the serger. So then you can decide, depending on what equipment you have, what is going to work for you. And we'll go over some of the positives on both ends, okay? So we're going to start at the sewing machine here. And I'm going to start with something very basic, something very simple we do all the time, and that is finish off raw edges on seam allowances. So I've just got a simple piece of cotton here, and I've already attached a overcasting foot to this machine. So I'm going to select an overcasting stitch. There are a lot of them available on the machine. And when I select this one right here, it's going to automatically tell me I should be using the foot with the letter G on it, and that's what I've already got on the machine. The advantage of this foot, I'm going to go ahead and start stitching and tell you about it while I'm stitching, is that it is designed very much like the serger. You'll see when we go over and do the serger, the foot itself has a pin on it, and that pin is designed for you to guide the raw edge so that when it forms the stitch, it literally jumps over the raw edge and clean finishes that. So whenever you see the word clean finish, if it tells you in a pattern to clean finish, that's what it's telling you to do. It's telling you to clean up or finish off that raw edge of fabric. So take a look at that, and you'll see that's a nice clean finish. It's covered on the raw edge, and that's going to keep my fabric from raveling. So let's pop over to the serger. We're going to do a lot of to serge it, to sew it today, and we'll slide over here, and we'll do the same thing with the same fabric. Now I've got my serger set up for 4 threads. You could go ahead and set it up for 3 threads, which would mean you would take 1 needle out. If you take out the right needle, let me just smooth that out a little bit. If you take out the right needle, it will form a narrower stitch. If you take out the left needle, if you take out the left needle, it'll form a narrower stitch. If you take out the right needle, it'll form a wider stitch. So there we've got another clean finish. The difference with the serger is not only does it wrap over the raw edge, it wraps over it with 2 interlocked loops. So we have loopers on a serger. On a sewing machine, we just have a bobbin and needle thread. And that literally seals the raw edge. So for exceptionally ravelly fabrics, the serger really is going to give you a very smooth, very neat, clean finish. And cut that thread. Now let's take a stretchy piece of fabric, and let's see how this can actually overcast and sew the seam at the same time. So I've got 2 layers of knit fabric. And again, I could change this to a 3 thread. But the serger has always been known to be ideal for knits. And you're going to see in a minute here why. For one thing, again, it completely clean finished. Now, I don't have a raw edge on here that's going to ravel, so that's not an issue. But I have two things generally that happen with knits. Sometimes they wave out of shape a little bit. And most sergers have a feature called differential feed, where you could change the dial and it will ease that in for you a little bit. This was a small piece, so I didn't have an issue with that. But what it does is it also creates, let me snip this so you can see it a little bit better. It creates an extremely stretchy seam. And it's very, very elastic and very, has excellent, excellent recovery. And then when we open that up, you can see that that's completely locked at the seam line, and it's a nice, neat, narrow seam.